not bad. And our word for today on this Wednesday of the third week of Easter, this Wednesday, April the 17th, our word for today is raise. Raise our word for today, and here to talk about it is Deacon Dan Brahier. Good morning, Deacon Dan.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Ron.
Top of the morning to you.
How are you, sir?
Thank you for being the buffer that is keeping, you are what is between me and cutting the grass right now. So
All right.
the happier I'm going to be.
Well, the thunderstorms are probably going to help you out a little later, so there you go.
well, I actually planned it so that I would get the grass cut before the thunderstorms come. But if we stay on the air long enough, the rain will come, and I'll just bag it till tomorrow.
There you
go. So the word for today is raise, and that reminded me of a story. This guy walks up to his boss, and he says, "I need a raise." And he adds, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. There are 4 other companies after me, and I wanted to talk to you first. So his boss says, well, in light of the economy and your situation, I can offer you a 10% raise and 5 extra days of vacation per year. So he agrees to it, and the boss asks him, just out of curiosity, which other companies are coming after you? And the guy said, the gas company, the electric company, the water company, and the mortgage company.
Yes.
Glad he asked that question afterward.
Exactly. Now, ironically, the word for the day is raise, and that word is used, if you think about it, so many different contexts in our kind of common day conversation. So we talk about how a married couple will raise their children. A farmer raises crops. An employee is given a raise. A student will raise a question in class. And there's a lot of different contexts, and it's kind of an interesting word because it has lots of different roots. But one root of the word means to rear, as in like rearing or raising children. And so the Scandinavian root of that word means to lift up or to bring into being. And so when children are raised, that's what we do. We lift them up and we bring them into being. We bring them into who they're going to be. And so kind of in that context, you think about that use of that word. In today's gospel, St. John talks about Jesus. He describes himself as the bread of life. And he says that anyone who comes to him will never hunger, will never thirst. And he goes on to say that he will raise them up on the last day. And so both of those definitions from that Scandinavian root actually apply. He's going to lift them up on the last day into heaven, but he's also going to bring them into being as eternal beings, as eternal members of the community in heaven. So it's consistent with the way that we use the word today. Jesus takes what is broken, the humanity, and he lifts it up. He raises it up to new life. And I know, Dave, you talked about this a little bit earlier this hour. It's really fascinating, that first reading from the Acts of the Apostles. St. Stephen has been martyred, and the followers are scattered, and they're being persecuted. And it says that they're being dragged out of their houses and put in prison, specifically by Saul. And so it appears that the church is in total disarray. But because of that disarray and the fact that the disciples are running everywhere, kind of running scared during that persecution, Jesus raises up his disciples. Philip ends up in Samaria. He performs signs. He casts out evil spirits. He cures the sick. And in the end, there was great joy in that city. So what came from the appearance of death and falling apart comes a great thing, that happens because of it. So God has this way of being able to take things that appear to be devastating in our lives and raise them up, lift them up, and make them better. As I was reading that first reading from Acts, it actually threw me back mentally to thinking about the book of the prophet Jeremiah. And in Jeremiah chapter 23, it's that beautiful chapter that talks about raising a shepherd. And I want to read just a little piece of this because it's very, very connected here. In Jeremiah, it begins the chapter by saying, Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the flock of my pasture. And therefore, says the God of Israel, against my shepherds who shepherded my people, you have scattered my sheep and driven them away, but I will take care to punish your deeds. I will gather the remnant of my flock from all the lands to which you have banished them, and I will raise up shepherds for them who will shepherd them so they no longer need to feel fear or terrified. So there it is, right? It's the same thing as that we're seeing in the Acts of the Apostles. Even though things appear to be falling apart, God is going to call a shepherd forward, Jesus, who is going to reunite the people and lift them up. Jesus was raised on the third day, so he promises to raise us up if we believe in him. And that's why in the gospel today he says, come to me to see the Son and believe in him, and like Jesus, we will be raised up on the last day.
Wow. Very powerful. Deacon Dan, thank you so much for that. Yeah, there's so many different contexts of the word raise. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a thread throughout the entire Bible when you start really looking at it closely.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Deacon Dan. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
And thanks for joining us on Morning Offering this morning. Hopefully you'll be with us tomorrow morning. God willing, we'll be on at 7:30.